Hey everyone, and welcome back to Next Gen New Mexico. This is the podcast where we talk about politics and policies that are shaping the land of enchantment. From Albuquerque, I'm your host, Joshua Neal, and today we're diving into a subject that might sound a little bit formal, but it's actually really important. It's the governor's State of the State address. Now, before you hit that skip button, stick with me for just a second. The State of the State address is kind of like a report card. It's kind of like a pep talk and maybe a to-do list that are all wrapped up into one. Every year, the governor gives this kind of speech to kick off the legislative session and to define and outline what the priorities are for the next year. Think of it as a here's where we are and here's where we'd like to go moment for New Mexico. It's not just about politics, it's about the direction of our state and what that means for you and me. So grab yourself a cup of coffee or something a little bit stronger if you're feeling a little spicy, and let's unpack what the governor had to say about the 2025 address. I'll share some highlights, some questions, and of course, my own 2 cents on what it all means for us everyday New Mexicans. So first of all, I'd like to say that the governor gave the speech with her usual energy. She started off with a mix of jokes and shout-outs. She talked about the past 6 years as a time of progress, and she called out some wins in education, in the economy, and in public safety. It was like a victory lap with some reminders that we've still got a long way to go. Now, I want to talk about 3 big themes from the speech: childhood poverty, education, and public safety. These are the issues that hit close to home for a lot of us, so let's get into it. One of the boldest claims that the governor made was that New Mexico is now ranked 17th in the nation for childhood poverty. And at first that sounds incredible, right? And when I first heard that, I thought, man, what? No way. That's amazing. But after some research, I found that there is a catch. This ranking comes from a method that factors in government aid, like tax credits and public assistance, to lower the numbers. And while those programs are important and definitely do make a difference, they don't always show the full picture. It's kind of like patching a leaky boat without fixing the holes. The boat might stay afloat for a little while, but the problem isn't solved. We should definitely celebrate progress because any drop in poverty is great news. But we also have to ask, is this a long-term solution? Are families truly escaping poverty, or are they just being temporarily buoyed by some government support? And the fact of the matter is, in plenty of other studies that use more of a national standard for evaluating childhood poverty, those studies rank New Mexico as number 50 in the nation, dead last for childhood well-being. So we've still got quite a ways to go. Another big focus of the speech was education, and honestly, this is where I start to feel both hopeful and skeptical. The governor talked about universal childcare, free pre-K, and free college as game changers for New Mexico's kids and families. And she's right, these are really big deals, but there are still challenges that didn't get much airtime. For example, our schools are struggling with teacher shortages, and many rural areas still don't have access to the same resources as urban districts. She also proposed incentives for schools to ban cell phone use during school hours. And while I can see the logic with plenty fewer distractions, I can't help but wonder if that's actually a top priority when some schools are just trying to get enough desks for their students. Public safety is where the speech really got serious. The governor acknowledged that crime is out of control in New Mexico, with violent crime rates twice the national average. She proposed tougher penalties for repeat offenders, new laws for drug traffickers, and more resources for law enforcement. But here's my question. Will these measures actually tackle the root causes of crime? I mean, there are some very, very serious issues that we need to address in terms of crime. Like, why aren't we targeting the source of the fentanyl crisis by cracking down on drug dealers? Why are we not increasing penalties for organized crime to ensure that criminals cannot continue to prey on our communities? Why are we not strengthening pretrial detention laws to keep individuals who've been charged with violent crimes behind bars until they can face their day in court? I do appreciate the proposal for better addiction treatment and mental health services. That's definitely a step in the right direction. But we need to go all in on these solutions if we're serious about making our communities a safer place. So, listening to the speech, I couldn't help but think about my own community. We've got hardworking people who just want a fair shot at life. They want better schools for their kids, they want safer neighborhoods, and they want to be able to afford a house. A lot of what the governor talked about feels like it's on the right track, but there's a difference between promises and progress. It's up to all of us to stay informed, to ask tough questions, and to hold our leaders accountable. Whether it's fact-checking bold claims about childhood poverty or pushing for more action on crime prevention, we have to stay engaged. All right, friends. Well, that's my take on the State of the State address. So to sum it up, there's a lot to be hopeful about, but there's also plenty to keep an eye on. Progress is happening, but we've got to make sure that it's the kind that lasts. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What did you think about the governor's speech? Are there issues that you wish had gotten more attention? Send me a message, and let's keep the conversation going. Thanks for tuning in to Next Gen New Mexico. Don't forget to subscribe, to share the episode, and to leave a review if you're enjoying the show. Until next time, stay curious, stay hopeful, and stay involved.